class to an inanimate object in an empty room, but I hope that some of you at home have fun with the practice tonight, and I hope I'm able to share a little bit of joy in the midst of a lot of craziness. So hang in there, everybody. We'll get through this, just like we always do. So we're going to start with a comfortable seat. Eventually I'm going to stop holding my hands like this. So Bakasana, so sitting cross-legged. If you have support, a blanket or bolster at home and you want to prop up on that, please do. And getting ready for seated meditation, we'll work on a little releasing into stillness. So you can guide your body forward like so. And if that's not comfortable for you, you can modify, bring your hands behind your hips and just create a little press from behind. And we'll just rock out of the sits bones, stretch out the spine, and then roll back. So as you start to roll back into your sits bones, just feel that nice sense of connection where the base of the hips makes contact with your seated space. You can bring your hands, if it's comfortable, into Jnana Mudra. So the index finger and the thumb on each hand touch. You can rest the hands with the palms facing up. You can start to rock your shoulders a little bit forward and back and feel the sensation of the muscles below the navel firming. And as you rock the shoulders slightly back from the center of the pelvis, you'll feel that little grip just below the navel. From there, if it's comfortable, you can give your head a little bit of a nod as though you were nodding yes. If it's comfortable to close the eyes, let them drift closed. And start to watch the breath. So just noticing the inhale and the exhale, moving past the tip of the nose with every repetition of that practice. We continue throughout our lives, from the day that we're born until the day that we die. This beautiful tool of japa, or repetition, which if we allow ourselves to watch, lets the stress melt away, lets the tension subside, brings us back to ourselves. You can take a minute to notice areas of tension and ease in the body. You can notice the activity of the mind. Any of those thoughts that feel as though they want to pile up one on top of the other, just acknowledge those thoughts and then bring awareness back to the breath. This slow, soft, steady breath will guide the waves of the mind to become calmer, flatter, more spacious, and you'll feel a greater sense of ease. You can let the hands find their way together at the heart center. And we're going to explore 3 rounds of the sound Om. You're welcome to chant the sound or hear the sound, whichever feels the most comfortable for you. And I like to imagine or visualize the Om starting deep down in the chest and ending at the lips. Nice, relaxed breath in. From here, just taking a nice inhale through the nose, and a sigh out through the mouth. Relaxing the breath, letting the hands come down. When you're ready, if your eyes are closed, you can just draw the chin down. Let your eyes softly open. Bring your awareness back to this space. Awesome work. been stuck doing a fair bit of sitting thanks to our current situation, so we'll get moving and then we'll just keep coming back and revisiting our seat. So first place we're going to kind of move the body is cat and cow. So you can do this with a blanket if you have unhappy knees, or you can just do it with knees on the floor. You're going to have your palms flat, fingers wide, wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. And then we're slowly just going to start to move through our inhale and our exhale. Inhale as the belly draws down, and exhale as the spine rounds up. If you have an ujjayi breath practice, you can add that on here, just creating that slight constriction in the back of the throat. Imagining that you are fogging up a window with every breath in and every breath out. And for a little bit of a deeper release, we'll move into a child. So you can inhale into cow. On the exhale, pull the navel to the spine, draw the hips back. If it's comfortable, let the elbows and the brow center rest. And inhale as you pull forward. Exhale as you draw back. Inhale as you draw forward. Exhale as you draw back. And then this last time back into child's pose, you can continue to stay in that child's pose. I'm just going to move to seated so you can hear me. So see if you can find a child's pose where the brow center is touching something. So that might be touching the floor. That might be touching stacked fists. If you have a block handy, perhaps letting the brow center touch the block. So this action of a gentle touch into the brow center stimulates our nervous system in a really soothing way. So it brings us into a state of rest and digestion and helps us just to reset and feel more like ourselves again. So we'll add on a little bit from here. So from your child's pose, you can bring yourself back up to lovely table. And we'll start to stretch out the limbs a little bit. You can bring the ball of the right foot into the floor and just start to rock forward and back. And just feel that nice sensation of release coming up into the calf, maybe up into the thigh and the hip. And you can just bring that leg down and move into your side two. So the ball of the left foot back. And again, just rocking the heel forward and back from center and finding that nice sense of letting go in the legs. And then I thought we could do some moves inspired by large cats. So we're going to do kind of a tiger-based sequence, just again for heating the body, warming things up. And this is very similar to our balancing table. So you're going to bring your left leg back with the knee bent and the right hand forward with the elbow bent. So we're going to inhale here. And then make a kind of lion or tiger roar as you bring your limbs together. And then just repeat 3 more times. Inhale. Then you can pause, so bring yourself back to your table. You can curl yourself under, clasp your wrists together, and just roll your wrists out. So a nice figure 8 shape with the wrists. And then you can just pause and reverse direction. And then you can just scrunch and flick your fingers. If you have arthritis, you can practice a gentle wiggle instead and shake out your arms. You can roll out your shoulders, give your head a little bit of release here. And I haven't forgotten side 2, so we'll go into our side 2. So you're going to come back into your balancing table, and this time you're going to let the right leg come up. You're going to bend that right knee. You're going to bend the left elbow and come back to that beautiful, fierce cat energy in the body. Inhaling here, exhaling with a roar.
yourself back down into your table. And we're just going to add a little bit of a flow onto our table pose or child's pose with a downward facing dog. So we're going to inhale in table, curl the toes under, exhale, let the hips come up and back into downward facing dog. Keep a little bend in your knees, long line of energy from the heels of the hands through the tailbone. Inhale, come back down, and maybe find a little bit of a cow pose here. Exhale and come back into child's pose. Moving back and forth with the breath. Inhaling into cow. Exhaling into downward facing dog. Inhaling into cow. Exhaling into child's. Inhale into cow. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale into cow. Exhale back into child. So this time in child, if you want a little bit of an extra stretch for your triceps, you can just follow along with this arm pattern, bending the elbows, clasping the hands, head to the floor, and then just pressing the elbows down. So from your child's pose, bring your hands to the floor and bring your head back up. And we're going to do a couple more liony, tigery inspired movement patterns. So you can just imagine that you're a big lumbering tiger or lion and you're just letting those shoulders just roll along, finding your way around the mat. If there's room in your house, and it doesn't scare your family too much, you can come off your mat and just own your space. Stretch out all those uncomfortable places in the body. Find your way back to your mat. And one more version of balancing tiger. So this comes into both sides of the body. A little bit different than you normally do. So you're going to bring the left knee into the floor, the ball of the right foot into the mat. The left hand is into the mat. You're going to roll the right hip up and bring your right hand to your right hip. If you're feeling a bit wobbly here and this is enough of a challenge, you can just hold here. If you want to go a little bit further, you can take the right foot and float it up. Might feel a little bit like doing Ardha Chandrasana from the knee. Again, if this is enough, you're going to hold here. If you want to go a little bit further, you're going to reach your right hand forward. So like balancing table or tiger pose, but all on one side of the body at the same time. And this pose reminds us that life brings us many of these instances where things feel really unstable. The body and the mind kind of push against that instability. Our yoga practice can allow us to just safely explore uncertainty as I fall down, voila, within a safe space. So a little bit more cat and cow, and then when you're ready for side two, you can switch sides. You do not have to keep pivoting around on your mat. This is a habit I have. You can have the left foot come back now. And again, if this is enough, stay here. If you want to add on, you can bring your left hand to your left hip. If you want to add on, you can bring your left foot up, half moon style. And if you want to add on, you can reach your left hand away. And don't forget to breathe. Soft and easy breaths. Enjoy the tremble. Enjoy the wiggle. Enjoy the mind. Exploring a moment of discomfort. And then bring yourself back down. And once again, you can curl the toes under. Bring yourself into a position of toe stretch. Now, if toe stretch is not a very comfortable place for you, you can just bring the hips up above the knees instead of having them down on the heels. And we're just going to do a little head neck release and then play with another liony pose. So you can bring your hands together and open the palms. Bring the palms to the top of the head. If you find you're kind of turtling here, you can just sit tall and proud here, crown of the head reaching up, elbows opening to the side. Okay, eyes closed again is an option. You can take a relaxed inhale, and on the exhale you can push the head into the hands and the hands into the head. Inhale and relax. Exhale and push. Inhale and relax. Exhale and push. And then you can just release the hands, clasp them back together again, and bring the chin to rest on the knuckles. And we'll just do the reverse here. So relaxed inhale, and on the exhale, push the hands up and the jaw down. Inhale and relax. Exhale and push. And inhale and relax. And exhale and push. And then you can just release the hands, relax the head, give those shoulders a few more rolls, and we're going to play with Simhasana. So every good large cat themed class needs to have a little bit of Simhasana. So there's a range of different ways the legs are taught for Simhasana. In this version that I'm trying tonight, we have the toes touching together, we have the knees wide. This is taught many other ways, so if you find this is more comfortable with the knees close together and the hands just resting on the knees, you can certainly explore that way. If you would like to try full-on Simhasana pose, you can bring some of your weight into your hands. You can roll your hands so that your fingers are pointing back. Make sure you're not hyperextending your elbows. We're going to take relaxed inhales, and on the exhales, we're going to stick our tongue out as far as we can. Maybe touch your chin with your tongue, and you're going to roll your eyes up to stare to the eyebrows. So see if you can make your eyebrows into the shape of a V in your sight line. Ready? Two more times. Beautiful. So if you haven't gone fully cross-eyed, Simhasana is a great tool for teaching us courage and bravery. So the lion is brave. Simhasana teaches us to find that courage within ourselves, again, in our chaotic times that we're experiencing. So let's move on from a lot of kneeling and into a little bit of seated posture here. So we're going to start in a variation of Dandasana. So in traditional Dandasana, the legs are very straight, and we're working on this kind of very angular practice. I want to shift things a little bit. So you can bring your heels into the mat, point your toes up, bend your knees, and lean back into your hands. And this is a little tool that I love for making the hamstrings happy. So you can pull your heels towards your hips, and then draw your shoulder blades together. And I like to say this is the pin-up girl. So inhale and make the pin-up girl shape. And on the exhale, just relax like you're that dude watching the pin-up girl. Okay, so you're going to inhale and pin up, and exhale and relax, and inhale and pin up, and exhale and relax. And then you're going to bring your hands a little closer towards your hips, so the spine's a bit more upright. You're going to walk your heels a little further forward, and then you're going to do that same action with the legs. You're going to pull the heels as though you were trying to get them towards the hips. The goal is to start to feel a little bit of a natural curve occurring in the low back. You're going to relax the pull, and then see if it feels comfortable just to start to tip forward. And then we're just going to slowly walk the hands forward, walk the heels forward, and pull, create that tension. And just exhale and relax. And again, a little further forward, pull and create that tension. Exhale and relax. And then two options. So if you have sciatica at all, you might want to just keep the spine fairly neutral here. Scoliosis as well feels more comfortable with a more moderate practice. If it's comfortable for you to release, you're just going to let your head and neck flop down. And And then just find some easy breaths here in Paschimottanasana. And then you can again just release. You can bring the body back upright. Bring yourself back right to where you started. And just let the knees swivel out from side to side. Awesome work. So we're just going to practice a little bit of a transition to come up to standing. And then we're going to play with a really fun version of sun salutation. So again, you can bring yourself back into your table pose. You can curl the toes under. You can keep a nice big knee bend here as you lift the hips. And then push yourself back and up into downward facing dog. So focus is on this long line of energy from the heels of the hands through to the tailbone. If the heels feel inclined to reach to the floor, that's great. And if not, you can keep them lifted, keep those knees bent. Look towards your big toes or your knees or your belly button. And find that Ujjayi breath again. And then you're going to walk your feet a little further forward. You're going to bring your hands back. We're going to play with a bit of a modified Uttanasana. So you can bring your elbows above your knees. You can bend your hips more than you might be usually. And then just let your head and neck flop. Imagine your head a little bit like a bowling ball. Just hanging heavy off the end of the spine. So no tension here, no stress. Soft and easy breaths. Slowly pressing into your feet, sweeping your arms up, and bringing your hands to your heart. Once you found your way into your Tadasana pose, just taking a nice inhale through the nose and a sigh out through the mouth. And I am going to be a human being and go and drink some water, and then we'll get started with our sun salutations. All right, so I have to just acknowledge my teacher, Mugs McConnell. So this is a sequence that I learned from her that I thought was really fun. It's kind of refreshing if you've done a lot of the same style of sun salutation for a long time. So because of the shortness of our class, I'll kind of break out of over-describing every little pose, and we'll just try it all out together and see how it goes. So you can bring your feet up to the top edge of your mat. And you can bring your arms up. So this can be just either a static Tadasana pose here, so something a little more traditional, or if you want to turn it into a bit of a back bend, imagine you were just rolling your spine over a beach ball. You can either continue to look forward, or you can look up, as long as that's not creating any strain in the area of the back of the neck. And then you're just going to let yourself float down into Uttanasana, standing forward fold. So hips over heels, head and neck nice and relaxed here. We're going to step the right foot back for a lunge. You can either practice this with the knee on the floor, or you can bring the heel up, and you can bring your hands to your left shin. So a prayer lunge. A little bit of a balance pose, a little bit of a transition, and we're just going to head from here back into downward facing dog. So you can bring the left foot back, you can bring the hips up and back. This first time through, just a few breaths here in Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. And then we're not going to vinyasa in the way that you might think. So you're going to hop your feet forward wide, maybe drop your heels, maybe sink your hips, maybe bring your hands back. Find your way into Balasana or squat pose. If this is enough, then you want to just hang out here, hang out in your squat. If you want to go further, you're going to come into Bakasana or crow. So you're going to bring your hands down, maybe walk your feet a little closer together, Tuck your knees up into your upper arms and let your feet lift. And I've picked some very slippery fabric for this tonight. And from your crow pose, step, hop, or jump back into, voila, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. And again, just use down dog to catch your breath. So if it's not catching your breath, if it's making you more breathless, you can come into table or come into child's. Or if you're quite content in your down dog, hang out in your down dog. So you're going to take the right foot and bring it to the front of the mat. And bring your hands to your right shin, back into your prayer lunge. So just find a nice, soft, easy variation of your lunge. You can bring your hands to the floor, step the left foot forward, let the head and neck melt down back into Uttanasana. And then, pardon my belly, you can reach up and find the back bend that feels best to you and bring your hands to your heart. And then we're going to repeat that and let the left leg lead us through our vinyasa. So you can inhale and find your back bend and exhale into your Uttanasana. Step the left foot back, hands to the right shin. Inhale in prayer lunge. Exhale back into downward facing dog. Inhale into squat, and then come out of the linking breath and movement, pause, and just enjoy this nice sensation of hip opening. You can wiggle your knees a little bit, open up those tight and weary hips. And again, you might hold here, or hands to the floor. Bring the feet a little closer together, bring yourself forward, and find Bakasana, crow pose. Step, hop, or jump back into chaturanga. Come back on an inhale into upward facing dog. On an exhale, back into downward facing dog. And find some nice, soft and easy breath here in Adho Mukha Svanasana. You're going to let the left leg come forward. Bring the hands to the left shin. Inhale in prayer lunge. Exhale into Uttanasana. Inhale into a nice standing back bend. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. And this is really getting my heart going. So, I am a huge fan of regulating in a yoga practice. So, because I'm feeling very up right now, I'm going to regulate through hand mudra. So we're going to play a little bit with a phrase called Sa Ta Na Ma. So when you bring your index finger and thumb together, think of the word Sa. Sa can be translated to mean birth. When the middle finger and the thumb together touch, we think of the word Ta, and Ta means life. When the ring finger and the thumb together touch, we think of the word Na, and Na means death. And when the pinky finger and the thumb touch, we think of the word Ma, and Ma means transformation. So that next cycle that happens after an end. So nothing ever really ends. So bring the index finger and thumb together, inhale, exhale, and think of the word Sa. Middle finger and thumb together, inhale, exhale, and think of Ta. Ring finger and thumb together, inhale, and exhale, Na. Pinky finger and thumb together, inhale, and exhale, Ma. And one more time, inhale, index finger, thumb, exhale, Sa. Middle finger and thumb, inhale, and exhale, Ta. Ring finger and thumb, inhale, exhale, Na. Pinky finger and thumb together, inhale, and exhale, Ma. And then you can just release, give the body a little bit of movement. And we're just going to try one more time our crow sun salutation, right and left side.
So you can again let your feet come up to one of the narrow edges of your mat. You're going to inhale, sweep the arms up, find that lovely back bend shape, and exhale, find your way back down into Uttanasana. Right foot back, hands to left shin, inhale into prayer lunge. Exhale, left foot back, coming into downward facing dog. Inhale, hop forward into Malasana. Little breath in Malasana. Then hands to the floor, feet a little closer together, knees to arms, let those feet lift, find Bakasana. Even if it's just 1 foot at a time, see if you can bring yourself back to that place of uncertainty, move back through an exhale of Chaturanga, an inhale of up dog, and exhale of downward facing dog. Pause in your down dog. Again, look to your big toes, to your knees, or to your navel. Find your soft and easy breaths. Use this pose to regulate. So slow down your heart, slow down your breath. Let the mind come back to its central space. And then right foot forward, hands to the right shin, inhale into prayer lunge. Exhale into Uttanasana. Inhale into standing back bend. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Switching to the left leg leading. A couple of easy breaths in mountain pose. Finding your center again. Inhale into standing back bend. Exhale into Uttanasana. Left foot back, hands to the right shin. Inhale into prayer lunge. Exhale into downward facing dog. Hop the feet forward, sink the hips, pause in Malasana. Make those decisions if you're happy here or moving through. Finding your last Bakasana, floating those legs up, remembering to breathe, stepping, hopping, or jumping back into Chaturanga with an exhale. Up dog with an inhale. Down dog with an exhale. Pausing and breathing in your downward facing dog. All right, and then you can drop your knees. And we're gonna play with another nice grounding and settling practice, and that is called Pranayasana, so a variation of child's pose. So again, you want to have your knees as wide as the mat. Your toes can touch, and you're going to make a lovely little basin with the hands. So this is called Pushpakuta Mudra. Directly translated, it means a handful of flowers. So imagine that you were offering the divine within you and the divine beyond you this lovely bouquet. And then imagine that you are the bouquet, you are the offering. So that's what we're practicing with Pranayasana. You're going to just let your head rest in your hands. And this triple combination of hand mudras is really healing in terms of, again, just letting really mobilized energy settle again. So from here, you can bring your head up, and you're going to make a little triangle, and you're going to rest the center of your brow inside the triangle. So this is sometimes known as the psychic mudra, so it stimulates our third eye, helps us to tap into our intuition and trust our inner knowing. And then you can bring yourself up again. You're going to bring your hands into Sanjali Mudra. So the prayer position with the hands. As you lie on the floor, your hands will be placed above your head in this gesture of letting go. So trusting the universe that we're all going to be okay. And hands can come back, the shoulders can lift, you can shift your hips. And we're just going to do one little piece of core practice here. And then we're going to play a little bit with some winding down, some calmer pranayama, and some yoga nidra in our shavasana. So this is a version of boat pose. The most sort of straightforward way to do this, least taxing for the core, is just to bring the hands behind the hips. You're going to draw the shoulders together a little bit, puff out the chest, and just feel that nice sense of being in kind of a forward fold posture here. If you're wanting to go a little bit further, you could walk your feet a little further in, you could cross your ankles, you could bring your hands underneath your thighs, so these are all options. Look straight out in front of you and see if you can find a focal point for your eyes. And then if you want to go further, you're going to let the feet lift off the floor. We're not going to do the conventional lifting of the legs here. Just want to get into a little bit of a different place in the core, so you can bring your hands to the heart again as an option. And then once you're here, squeeze everything in. So see if you can feel the lift of your pelvic floor, the lift of the diaphragm at the base of the lungs. Soft and easy breaths. So the breaths remind you that even if you feel a bit wobbly here, the floor is right there, you are fine. You can always come out of the pose if you need to. The drishti, the focal point, helping the mind, again, to find ease within discomfort. If you're still hanging in there, reverse the cross of the legs, and again, pull in. Squeeze the inner thighs towards one another, pull the pelvic floor up, pull the navel center in gently so that you can still easily breathe in your pose. And then you can bring the soles of your feet together. You can rock yourself a bit more upright here for cobbler's pose. Just wiggle out the knees, creating a nice little bit of release. If it's comfortable, gathering up the feet in the hands and letting yourself find your cobbler's pose. So cobbler's pose of your choice. So again, an upright spine is an option. Hands behind the hips is an option. Fists stacked for the brow to rest on is an option. And then you can just release and bring yourself out. Shake everything out again. Good job. So I really love alternate nostril breathing. It is another great tool for settling the nervous system. This class is a Hatha class, so Ha and Ta are masculine and feminine, and one of the ways that these terms fit in the body is in terms of the right and left side of the body and creating balance between those two sides. So alternate nostril breathing is a great way to do this. You're going to have your right hand either in Vishnu Mudra with the two central fingers, index and middle finger curled in, and then you're going to use your ring finger on your left nostril and your thumb on your right nostril, or you can practice Nasagara Mudra with those two central fingers up and pushing into the brow center. And hopefully you'll be able to hear me as I talk through my hand. So you're going to bring the hand mudra of your choice up to your face. Make sure to sanitize afterwards. Bring the thumb to the right nostril. Inhale through the left. Seal both of your nostrils. Tuck your chin. If it's available, you're going to let the pelvic floor, the diaphragm of the lungs lift. So engaging the bandhas. You're going to lift the chin, release the right nostril, and exhale out of the right, very slowly here. Then we're going to inhale through the right for about 3 seconds. Seal the nostrils, tuck the chin, let the pelvic floor lift. nostril and exhale. Inhale through the left. Seal the nostrils, tuck the chin, let the pelvic floor lift. Lift the chin, release the right nostril and exhale. Inhale through the right. Seal the nostrils, tuck the chin, let the pelvic floor lift. Lift the chin, release the left nostril and exhale. Inhale through the left. Seal the nostrils, tuck the chin, let the pelvic floor lift. Lift the chin, release the right nostril, exhale. Inhale through the right. Seal the nostrils, tuck the chin, let the pelvic floor lift. Lift the chin, release the left nostril, and exhale. And then you're just going to release the hand from the brow. Pause in Bakasana, your easy seated posture, and just notice any effects of your overall yoga practice tonight, your meditative components, your breath, your asana, your physical poses, and time's marching on. So let's do a little bit of work on our spines and head our way towards a lovely yoga nidra. So from here you can just draw the hips forward. You can roll the spine down onto your mat. You can hug your knees into your chest for Bakasana, wind relieving pose. Just feeling a nice, easy release here. And we're just going to play with a little bit of a variation on thread the needle. So you can bring your left foot to the floor. You can unbend your right leg a little bit. So kind of a 90-ish degree angle with the right leg. You're going to take your right hand and slide it up onto your right heel. And then you're going to commit a yoga spin. And you're going to roll over onto your right knee and let your left hip lift off the floor. You're going to take your left hand and slide it up till you start to feel some pleasant release in your left shoulder. And then if you're one of those unfairly super flexible yogis and this isn't doing much for you, you can press your right knee, your left foot, and the back of your left hand into the floor for a deeper stretch. And then just let everything soften and release and let go here. And then you can awkwardly get back onto your pelvis again and bring your foot across your thigh. Bring your arms out to the side in a T shape or cactus shape. Inhale here. And on the exhale, just roll your legs over to the left. So you want your right foot and your left outer leg touching the floor. You want a whole arm line connecting to the floor. So the backs of the hands, the shoulders, the back of the head. Taking some easy breaths here. If you're looking for a little bit more in the neck, you can lift and rotate your head to face the other way, which I won't do for long or you won't be able to hear me. So then just, again, settle. Let things let go. Would love to hold this here for a long time, but in the interests of moving things along, we'll just hold this for a little bit of time, and then you can unwind and bring the feet to the outside edges of your mat, and just let your knees roll out side to side, and then we're going to come into side two. So you can stay right where you are. I am going to pivot for my own convenience. So you can come back into your Bakasana pose, and then let the right foot come to the floor. And then you're just going to unbend a little bit that left leg, so about a 90-degree angle. Slide the left hand up the inside of the left leg. Hold onto the heel. Hold on for dear life and roll over onto your left knee. Let your right hip lift off the floor. And then to get that little bit of shoulder stretch in the right shoulder, you're going to sweep that arm up
until your shoulder says, hey, stop. You're going to stop there. And again, if you want a little bit more, you're going to push your knee, foot, and hand into the floor. Remember your breath, so soft and easy breaths here. And then slowly come back onto the pelvis, bring the left foot across the right knee. Bring your arms out into a T or cactus shape. Inhale here. And on the exhale, roll off to the right side. Let the left foot, the outer edge of the right leg, connect into the earth. Again, that sense of binding of the body with the surface is really comforting for the nervous system. So the backs of the hands, the elbows, the shoulders, the back of the head. This reassuring sense of touch along many different planes of the body. And then you can, again, slowly unwind from your twist. You can bring your feet onto the mat, so heels right underneath the knees. You're going to bring your hands onto your belly, and we're just going to do a little bit of lower back awareness, and then we'll rest. So relax, inhale here. On the exhale, flatten your back into the floor and feel the belly just moving away from the hands. So again, relaxed inhale. And exhale and press down. And relaxed inhale. Exhale and press down. You can bring your hands to the floor, relax, inhale. On the exhale, roll down and then push up, rocking up into a bridge pose. Inhale here. On the exhale, roll the spine back down. Inhale and bring that curve back to the low back. Exhale, press the low back into the floor, rise the hips up. Inhale here. And exhale, roll the spine back down. Inhale here. And exhale, roll the low back into the floor, press the hips up. Inhale here. And exhale, roll down. For that sweet release, easy, relaxed sensation here. We're going to move into Shavasana. So you can bring your feet a little wider apart, let the knees touch for a constructive rest pose, or you can lengthen out the legs, let the toes fall out to the side, bring the palms facing up. You can lift up out of your shoulders ever so slightly just to reset the shoulder blades along the back of the rib cage, and then we're going to pause. So just slowly letting yourself settle into your Shavasana. Letting the feet and the legs feel heavy and settled. Letting the hands and the arms feel heavy and settled. Letting the hips and the spine feel heavy and settled. Letting the belly and the chest and the head feel heavy and settled and relaxed. As you move into stillness, if the mind grows restless, help the mind to settle by counting out the breath. So the next exhale that you notice, you can count that one as 7. The one after that as 6. You're going to slowly count your way backwards towards 1. And if you lose track of the count, come back to 7 and start over again. And then slowly from here, you can move away from counting the breath. Come back to just noticing it again, letting it start to broaden and deepen as you find your connection with the body again, wiggling out the fingers and the toes,
Stretching the arms out overhead and the feet down below, as though you are just waking up from a long, deep sleep. And then you can bring your arms down. You can bend up your knees. You can roll either to your right or your left side and just cradle your head on your arm as you find that lovely sense of reconnection with the body in this space at this time. Then when you're ready, you can press into your palm and bring yourself up to a comfortable seated posture. So, few more things for you tonight. So I'd like to share a reading from this book, Embers, and I have to thank my mentor and teacher and friend, Cindy Seike, for sharing this with me. And this is, I think, my favorite passage in this whole book, and I think of it all the time when I am getting restless in the grocery store lineup. I am not the endless chatter in my head. I am the me who recognizes that chatter is happening. I am not the me who is impatient in the grocery line or at the stoplight. I am the me who recognizes and acknowledges the impatience. If I take a breath and change the chatter to "this is me waiting calmly," that is what the experience becomes. Practicing this simple awareness allows me to be present in all moments, to fully inhabit my life. And so as our class draws to a close, I would like to share a mantra that our chair class, our seniors, often use together. And if any of you are watching, I miss you and I wish this could be in person. And it is lion themed. So Narasimha is a deity with a human body and a lion head, and he is a fierce protector. And this mantra is in particular said to, it's a strong thing to say, but ward off evil. And we're in a very challenging time, and I'm happy to use any medicine of any kind I can get to help me and hopefully you through the days to come. So if you know it, you're welcome to join in. If you prefer just to receive the sound, you can do that as well. Narasimha Tavada Soham. 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 We'll close our practice together today with one more shared Om. Breathing in.